Magazine in Colorado.
Hi.
Just calling to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I was going to sort of write a piece about you as a songwriter and as a composer, so
All right.
ask you some songwriting questions.
Okay.
The first question I wanted to ask was, why do you write songs? Yeah. Easy one right off the bat.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Probably because I just really liked records when I was a kid, you know. I wanted to learn how to do it.
Right.
You know, I don't know. That's a hard one to answer.
Well, who would you say inspired you to want to write songs?
Stevie Wonder, Beatles, Clash.
You wanted to. Now, what was it? I guess about that type of music? Was it that they were expressing something, or was it just you like the way they were structuring their songs together?
I don't know. It's kind of it's difficult to talk about, you know, because if you like how something sounds, you just kind of like it. And when you're a kid, it just seems like, oh, it's magic, you know. How'd they do that? And so then you start trying to take it apart and see how it was built.
Right.
Like, you know, some people like cars and they take them apart. Some people like songs, you know.
How do you know when you've written a good song, or one that what you want to put on an album?
Well, I never know if it's a good song, but I know if I still like it a little while later or not. I mean, at least half the songs I make up I don't really care for anymore after a couple days. But
those don't usually make it to the album.
No. Well, hopefully not. So far, no. But I think it feels like it's got some little reflection of life in it, even if it's just a fragment. Then I'm probably gonna like it. And if it's some song that I already knew I could do, then I won't like it.
Gotcha. Do you as far as the lyrics are concerned, would a listener be wrong in assuming that the songs are from your own point of view?
Yeah, they would be, but see, sometimes they are, you know, but not all of them. The listener would, the so-called listener would be correct, and if they heard it sort of in the same way as they would listen to someone who was telling them a dream that they had.
Right.
So that you could see things about that person in the dream, but there's also a lot of the outside world getting in there, you know.
As far as the music that you like, do you find it ever useful or interesting to know the biographical information about the artist in question?
Yeah, well, I did when I was a kid. Yeah, I think it's maybe interesting, but, you know, some people don't really like to get into that stuff. They would just rather kind of do it and not, I don't know, you know, there's so much focus on who somebody is as opposed to what they're actually doing.
Yeah. Because
you can't make, you know, that's what fame is about. But it's not what music is about.
And it's nice to be able to separate the music from the person, but that's really difficult in some cases.
Yeah.
I guess I would agree with that. Alright, what was my information here? What was your approach to recording different, how was your approach to recording different between Figure 8 and XO?
Figure 8 was recorded faster, with less talking about things with the producers. We'd already worked together and didn't have to really discuss much. Just sort of look at each other and be like, nah, not that amped.
Right.
You know. Other than that, I don't really know. It's just kind of quicker and easier.
So when you recorded XO, was it sort of a new challenge for you to be able to work with a new level of production and instruments you wanted and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was. There was I had access to all sorts of things that I didn't have access to before. So, yeah, it was new to me.
Right. And as far as touring, I know you have a big tour ahead of you. You've already been touring for quite a while. How is what do you like about touring and performing live?
I think it's just you gotta do something with your time, you know. Playing music for people is a good thing to do. I don't know. I just kind of wound up doing it, you know.
Right. In some ways, do you prefer recording in the studio when you can take time to redo things and polish things and that sort of thing?
Well, I'm not a big fan of polishing things, although there are certain things that I'll redo. But I think a lot of times, the law of diminishing returns. If you keep on singing something too many times, or I don't know. I'm not trying to make some perfect noise, you know, for live or in the studio. I think it's cool if it makes this mood, and the mood isn't killed by contrivance and stuff, then that's pretty good. And if it's doing that, then I don't really care if there's mistakes in it.
Gotcha. Would you say, do you particularly when you write a song or when you perform a song, do you have somebody in mind for a lot of your songs? I mean,
No.
Are the communications or not really?
No, I usually have no one in mind. No one in particular. Maybe nobody at all. I just like doing it.
Right. What music have you yourself been listening to lately that you've been enjoying?
I've been listening to a lot of Stooges lately. Raw Power. You know that record?
Yeah.
And this band called Oranger that I took on tour with me in Europe. Oranger. But mostly this, Raw Power has been on permanent rotation lately. Not sure why.
Are there plans for another album in a year or so, or
Yeah.
anything concrete?
Well, I've recorded a few songs in the last couple months, or well, maybe it was a little bit before that. No, there's no hasn't gotten that far yet. I've got to finish touring this record and then make plans for that.
Right. So, nothing about you don't have anything in mind as far as the sound, or?
I think it's going to be smaller sounding and more driven by the lyrics.
Also about recording, do you have a song all the way thought out before you start it, or do you just sort of let it go as you're recording and decide what you need to add?
Well,
Take away.
The song is usually complete as like an abstract structure or something, like with the chords and the way the lyrics go.
Yeah.
Then some songs I do have I have it kind of mapped out in my head. But a lot of them I don't, and it's sort of like, well, what's here? There's the drum set here. Let's see if this song would sound good with drums. No? Okay, let's see if whatever other instruments are around can add anything, or if they're just going to kind of sit on the song and do nothing, then we'll take them away again.
Does that apply as well to some of your harmonies?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So sometimes you'll record a song and then later you'll decide if it would be good with one or two harmonies as well.
Yeah, but we usually, me and the producers, usually do them all of a piece, all in a day, like one song at a time.
as far as just an example, something like one of my favorite songs off the new album is "Easy Way Out," and how would something like that? How did that song originate lyrically, and then come to what it is on the album?
Well, that was a pretty old song that was around from the time of the previous record, and it kept meaning to record it, but for me it was one of those songs that just had to do it on the right day, and not in the mood to do it, then it's not going to sound any good.
Right.
Yeah, I recorded it, and then added some like mellotron or Chamberlain or something to it.
Cool. Now, as far as you say that maybe there's not somebody in your mind when you're recording something, you're playing something.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say that you feel some emotion when you're performing, or when you're?
Oh, of course, yeah.
But it's nothing particular. It's nothing that you don't.
Well, it's not necessarily directed at people, or at some specific person, or maybe not at people at all. Just sort of when people are asleep, they're feeling emotion, but it's not a communication between them and someone else. So I don't know.
Gotcha. Then your song is sort of kind of communicate on a subconscious level.
Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully, not to sound pretentious about it, but yeah, sure. I think that, yeah, songs that don't communicate on a subconscious level are, I don't know, not so interested in that kind of music.
Right. And are you, and I know you love music, do you find yourself listening to music at all times of the day, or do you try to keep silent so that you can think about your own music, or how does that work?
Well, I don't listen to it all day long, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, if I did that one thing all the time, that would just kill it,
Yeah.
So I do all the same things everybody else does. I hang out with my friends. But yeah, I listen to records sometimes. I'm not like a huge connoisseur. I don't have a whole lot of records. And on tour, I usually just kind of listen to whatever people put on the stereo. And if no one's put anything on, then I put on raw power.
Are you more likely to go out and buy something new if you were going to buy something, or to browse through old records and find something that you'd be interested in?
Honestly, I hardly ever buy records.
Right.
And if I did, I'd probably just kind of look at everything and see if anything caught my eye.
Right. So you mostly acquire records.
Yeah, and I'm, I've been kind of around other people who've been on tour with me for a long time, and they always bring a lot of CDs, so I don't really need to,
Gotcha. Well, let me know, how was recording in Abbey Road? What was that like for you? I mean, I know you're...
Good sounding place. Yeah.
Was it, I mean, did you have did it feel strange? I mean, was it weird recording with Beatles that recorded?
Well, maybe it was a little, it was a kick to walk in, but once I started recording a song, it was sort of thinking about the song and wasn't really thinking about who had been in there.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of weird. One night, after we were done, I was just sitting in there making up a song on the piano they have there, and which which was used on like Penny Lane and stuff, and that was pretty cool. But I don't know, I was busy, you know, it's expensive and I had to get the shit done.
Right.
So
that was expensive. All right, who are you currently touring with? Or who will you be touring with?
in the U.S., it's they're called Granddaddy.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Just a couple of perhaps more random questions.
All right.
So, I was wondering. I read somewhere you said you have to tell yourself to read a book once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read any good books lately?
Yeah, I read a couple things by Mikhail Bulgakov, The Master and Margarita, and Heart of a Dog. Those are good.
I'm not familiar with those. What are those? What kind of books are those?
He's a Russian novelist from the first half of the 20th century.
And here's another somewhat random question. What do you get excited about in life? Does music get you excited?
Well, yeah, if it didn't, then I wouldn't, why do it if it doesn't? Yeah, I guess that's the main thing, probably, for me.
And recording?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Alright.
I think I've asked everything I wanted to ask.
Alright, cool.
Thanks for your time, man.
Thank you.
It'd be great to see you when you come to Denver.
Alright, thanks.